Okay, so today is the day of the votes. MPs will be voting on Theresa May's deal. Honestly, it's going to be a close one. Theresa May has left this so late that it puts MPs in a very awkward position, because you either vote for this deal that very, very few people actually like because it's a crap deal, or you risk having a no-deal Brexit. And that is the worst possible outcome. I'm going to have a little rant about voters right at the end of this, but I'm kind of pissed at Jeremy Corbyn. So last month, in December, when Theresa May said that she wouldn't allow the vote to happen in December, he put forward a vote of no confidence in Theresa May. Fine, absolutely go for it. But it should have been followed up with a vote of no confidence in the government. And he had support. He had support from Clyde Cymru. He had support from the SNP, from the DUP. He had support. He could have done that. And it's not just over Brexit. You've got universal credits. You've got the UN report into poverty and how our government reacted to that. Now, Theresa May didn't start austerity, but her government and herself, when this report initially came out, denied it, point blank, said it was lies. Not acceptable. Honestly, it's beggars belief and shameful to the fact that there are 4 ministerial positions in this country that exist. Minister for Loneliness. What kind of messed up, disconjointed government allows a country to need a minister of loneliness? I get that that's a global issue, but the fact that we have to appoint someone for that position is absolutely obscene. Minister of Suicide. Dear God, what is wrong with you? To govern a country that needs to put someone in charge of this. Again, suicide is a global issue, but you shouldn't have to have a dedicated minister for suicide. That should be it. When you sit down and think, oh my God, I actually need someone to solely dedicate their career for this, you have failed. But there's so many other things. There's defunding the police, leading to a huge rise in crime. There's so much. And the fact that he hasn't has seriously annoyed me. He can come out spitting a little bit of fire in the House of Commons. I genuinely like that. I think more people on the left need to actually have a little bit of fire in their belly. But it's weak. And at this point of the game, it's January. We're set to leave at the end of March. It's mental. So what's going to happen if people don't vote for May's deal? It's been hinted, and this is the first time I'm seriously considering that this might actually happen. It's been hinted that she will postpone Brexit. Instead of kicking the can down the road, she'll just move the road. Possibly cancel it. Now, here's the thing. I'm a firm Remainer, but I want it to be the people's choice. The fact that she won't send it back to the people because that will damage democracy is mental. Allowing the people to vote on something goes against democracy. Who knew? Must be part of their whole redefining the dictionary and everything else. But it's a serious thing now. Maybe that will happen. But here's the thing. As a Remainer, I want it to be a people's vote. And this gets me onto my little rant and rave about voters, because there's a couple of talking points that keep popping up that I can't stand. First and foremost, saying that most of the country voted to leave the EU. Not true. I understand why people get that misconception, but it's not true. There's something like 66.7 million adults in this country who are eligible to vote. Less than 50 million people voted in a referendum, and 51% of that voted to leave. So straight off the bat, most of the country did not vote to leave the European Union. They either abstained or they voted the other way. Semantics, but it's something that just gets to me. Most of the people who voted to leave, sure, and that's why we're going through this, but not most of the country. Secondly, and this is what really, really irritates me, some of the voters have come out and said that there was a lack of information. That sometimes it's from the people who didn't vote, sometimes it's people who voted to leave, sometimes it's people who voted to remain, saying that there just wasn't enough information on the table. Here's the thing. Everything was there. Absolutely everything was there. I can go online right now and find out who my MEPs are, who my representatives in the European Union are. The South East has 10 of them. One of them being Nigel Farage. But the information was there. Problem is, whenever someone came out and said, okay, look, this is actually something that could happen from leaving the European Union, if it was negative, leavers would yell out, fake news, Project Fear. So it was ignored. It's not that the information wasn't there. It was always there. It's just people weren't taking it seriously because morons like Boris Johnson, Jacob Rees-Mogg and Nigel Farage labelled it as Project Fear. So people didn't pay attention. And the media failed this country by not reporting the actual facts. And instead, they backed the politicians who are bought and paid for. Okay, that's my little rant over. Back to today. Honestly, I don't know how it's going to go. 7 o'clock this evening is when they're meant to have their vote. So we'll see. I mean, this is one of the most important things in decades for the United Kingdom. I couldn't call it either way.